1.5 years after the 73-day Doklam standoff between India and China, China's ambassador to India has said that the two countries cannot afford to have another Doklam-like incident. Earlier this month in Wuhan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping had decided to issue strategic guidance to their militaries to strengthen communication and build trust and understanding. This as part of efforts to avoid a Doklam-like situation in the future.
Stand another Doklam. Let's make joint efforts to enhance mutual trust. Try our best to make some progress on the CDMs to maintain the peace and tranquility along the border area.
China also believes, he said, that 5 C's are essential to promote relations. The ambassador labeled them as communication, cooperation, contacts, coordination and control. The Chinese envoy said Prime Minister Modi's neighborhood first policy, which focuses on improving ties with India's immediate neighbors, is very much similar to China's President Xi's policy. An emphasis on a high-level people-to-people and cultural exchange mechanism to enhance exchanges in the field of movies, sports and tourism was also highlighted. Siddhant Sibal now joining us for more on that from the capital, New Delhi. Siddhant, this wasn't really a press conference, so it seemed Doklam was among the many messages that the Chinese envoy wanted to send out. Siddhant, just checking whether you can hear us. I was just saying that this wasn't a press conference style that the envoy had. So Doklam was among one of the messages that he actually wanted to send out. We seem to have some problems with the communication line with Siddhant Sibal, but this is the Chinese ambassador to India who has spoken about many issues, including Doklam. The ambassador Lu Zhaoyi has said that the two countries cannot afford to have another Doklam-like incident. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Chinese President Xi Jinping in Wuhan, and they both decided to issue strategic guidance, as it was called in the understanding, to their militaries to strengthen communication and build trust and understanding as a part of efforts to avoid that Doklam-like situation. We have retrieved that communication line with Siddhant Sibal and can go live to him again. Siddhant, I was just asking you whether this was a message that the Chinese ambassador wanted to give, apart from the others that he gave on Doklam.
Well, it's not usual for the Chinese ambassadors to speak on public events, and it was after many weeks or months that the Chinese ambassador was speaking at a public event when media was allowed, and he was specifically speaking about post-Wuhan, how far India-China relations can go, and the basic point he said that India-China relationship cannot bear another Doklam. The second point he suggested was a trilateral between India, Pakistan and China on the sidelines of the SCO summit. And third, he said that India can sign a treaty of friendship with China, the draft already being given by China 10 years ago. So all in all, it was all about bonhomie, which the Chinese ambassador talked about. But of course, the contentious issues remain, like NSG, and of course Chinese would like India to join One Belt, One Road initiatives. Those issues remain. But today's his tone was largely how the relationship can be enhanced. He talked specifically specifically on people-to-people contact. He said the biggest promoter of Indian movies in the country is the Chinese President Xi Jinping, and of course recalling Dangal, how hit it was, and other movies like Secret Superstar in the country. Remember at the SCO summit when that bilateral happened, one of the key points which came out was that there will be a mechanism, people-to-people contact mechanism, which will be headed by the foreign ministers of both the country, and this will be meeting later this year, other than the defense ministers who will also be meeting. So by and large his focus was on that the issues that are issues of conflict like Doklam can be talked about later, but let's first talk about engagements that can help both the countries, India and China.